Good evening. Good evening, everybody. Yes, it's me again, Listra. I'm just rolling through here at a broadcast after another and one after the other. And this is just so exciting. But I had a lot of people that did want to come on and join in and just hang out with me. And of course, just there's such an encouragement to me. There's so many people that I would like to have on. I don't think I had enough hours in the day. But anyway, I did want to come in and just let you know we're still here on the book launch. We are celebrating the official book launch of my book, which is called Get Real, Healing Your Identity and Unlocking Your Purpose. And I want to bring you into the picture right here to show you that when last we checked in, that this was the status right here, that here we are, and we have the Amazon rankings right here, that I am #1 in the new releases in Christian discipleship. And so I actually picked the category Christian discipleship, but I'm not quite #1 in the category, but I'm #1 of their new releases. And I think I'm actually like #6 in the main category. So I went from being like 2 to 400 down the line to being like 4 and 6 and 13. So I'm just like, man, God is doing it today. And I have all of you to thank for that as well, because you guys have been going out there downloading the book. You guys have been, promoting and sharing and tagging and liking and been coming on the broadcast and just encouraging. So thank you all. Thank you all that you've been out there just, doing this thing and helping me through this, and giving me something to celebrate, and just partnering with me in this #1 thing. And so I came on this morning and I said you were looking at the next Amazon #1 best-selling author, and now I've had to change my little name tag, because sure enough, I'm the #1 best-selling author on Amazon right now in my category. Of course, Michelle Obama is the #1 best-selling author on all of Amazon right now. But hey, she should be, so, it's just such an honor to be given a #1, and so I'm just thankful for that. I just thank God for that, because really, everything that I've been through and the healing journey that I've been through was all him. It was all him just bringing me to those places, and him delivering me from those things. And, of course, even just the inspiration to write a book out of a painful place, out of what was a painful place. That's only a God thing. Who wants to share, things that weren't so good? So anyway, I just thank God. I praise God for where I am and for what he's doing through this, and all the people that he's going to touch, because I just feel like being #1 in the category is really about me getting more visibility, so that people can come on and say, oh my gosh, there's a new release here that just came out 4 days ago and it's already #1. This must be awesome. Like, I'm gonna have to get that book and see what it's all about. And so I think it'll just drive a lot more interest because of the positioning, because of what God is doing with it. So I'm just so thankful. And yes, it's a total honor just to be used by God, to be eligible to stand in the place to get the accolades that really belong to God. So definitely, I don't take that for granted. And so my next guest is someone that's very near and dear to my heart, someone that's part of my own family. I've had all my friends on today. I've had friends that I've known for 30 and 40 years. I've had new friends that I just met in the past 3 to 5 years that are my accountability partners, that are my prayer partners, and just people that have come to be closer to me than family, that they are my family now. And so I've just had a variety of people. I've been shedding tears for the last 3 broadcasts. So yes, I'm totally celebrating. You can see that with the backdrop over here, right? All of this bling in the back is awesome, and it's celebratory. And I've had party hats, and I've had pom poms, and lately I've been celebrating with balloons. I mean, with bubbles. We've got bubbles over here, and I celebrate in the corny way. I'm just kind of corny. I'm not over here with bubbly and stuff that I guess other normal people would do. I'm just kind of corny like that. I've got bubbles, and I've got these little spin wheel things, and I've got funny hats, and of course it wouldn't be a party without cake. I can't wait to have some cake. So anyway, I'm sitting here. I haven't eaten much all day, and I haven't stood up much all day. I've just been just having so much fun, just hanging out with you guys and with my special guests. And so I want to bring on my next guest. I have known her for literally her entire life, and she's been in this world from the beginning. She came in shaking down the foundations, being born at the small, lightweight champion weight of 3 pounds, 3 ounces. And I've never forgotten those numbers. And I was just so, my heart just broke when I heard that news, and I was just praying for her. And I just knew that, that she was just a fighter from the very beginning. She wasn't going to let nothing take her out. And to this day, she's still fighting. She's still, taking over those streets. She's just still, burning down the devil and his attacks on her identity, because the devil has been trying to be after her whole life for one reason or another, whether it's the top of her, the bottom of her, the side of her. He's just always somewhere trying to attack something. And so, but that's how he is. That's how it is in these Christian streets. So we're just, we're over here just celebrating and having a great time. And one reason that I'm so thankful to have my niece here, her name is Tasha. Well, LaTasha. Let's just go. Let's be government. Your name is LaTasha. So, LaTasha, it's got all spelled out there, and don't forget the space between the law and the ta. So so she is she's such a blessing to me. Such a supportive young woman. I'm so proud of her and where she's at in her life, and of course she'll tell you what kind of life she lives at home. That's part of her awesome testimony at this point. And but I really love it because she was there from the beginning of kind of like my ministry re-entry, as I write in the book about how I started my healing journey somewhere around 2011 or 12-ish in there, and about 2011. And that around 2013 is when I just started really digging back into ministry. After I got some level of healing, I just started serving kind of in the background. But then eventually, I got shoved up to the front of the stage. And, that's just how it is. I'd rather be in the sound booth hiding. But, some of us introverted people have the most extroverted gifts. And so now here I am on social media like 12, 13 times a day. That's just unheard of. And so it's crazy how the Lord just takes you to places that you're so uncomfortable in initially, but then he just grows you to fit in those shoes. It's like, this is who you've always been, but you didn't know, and you weren't trying to go there, but I'm just kind of inching you out little by little. And so, Tasha has been very instrumental from around those times, maybe 2013 to 2014, because as you said, it was around the time that Zoe May was born. And so, we just kind of connected in more of an adult way. It's like, I've always been auntie, but now she's an adult and she has her own family. And so we've been connecting in more of an adult way. And, just she's been so supportive and was there to help me like design the idea for putting together my women's ministry, Women Inspire Women. And she would get on the computer with her design skills and help me with flyers and concepts and posts on media and just all kind of things. She's so multi-talented of an entrepreneur. You'll have to tell them the 18 businesses that you've had since you were like 8 years old or something. But she's like me. She's just an overachiever. And so we just connect a lot. We have the same favorite color. We both like to carry little notepads in our purses, and people think that we're weird. But we always have things to write down. We always like paper, right? And yeah, right here next to me is my notepad. And the rest of our family is like, what y'all need that for? Like, what's the point? Can't you just remember what you was going to write down? No, we can't. And we need this for posterity, because we might have to prove this to somebody later. So, but we're so alike in so many of those ways. And, Tasha has just been such a support to me in ministry and just in my personal life. We, we pray together, and we challenge each other with like how we need to get out of our little comfort zones. And so anyway, that's who she is to me, but I'm just going to be quiet and let her tell you who she is to the world.
Well, I thank you so much for that beautiful introduction. Congratulations on being the #1 best-selling author on Amazon, in my heart, and in the world, because it is time. And I'm so excited for every single eye, every single heart to read and open up to what God has for them in this book. So I'm super excited. And so, yes, my aunt is an author. She's a best-selling author, and I get the honor to be her niece. And I know that God definitely aligned um, our relationship, our heart, and who we are from soul to soul before we were even here. So I'm so excited that we've been able to get to that level. I am a full-time wife and full-time homeschooling mom to 2 kids. I have 2 beautiful daughters, Zoe May, who is 6, and Josephine Joy, who is 2. And and then there's so much more to me than that, but those are the things that I love to walk into the most, and scream from the rafters about, because that's not what I had planned, but that's what God had in planned for me. But I went to school for design, and I still have a heart for creating and being an artist. I love painting and drawing and designing clothing. So yes, I've had a children's wear line where my biggest supporter and biggest just like everything I needed, a soundboard from motherhood to business to any and every aspect has been you, Auntie Listra. And so it's just an honor to be able to be that back and forth for each other. And so I love writing, and you were always my encourager to say I'm a good writer, even when I'm like, yeah, but and we came up with this slogan of go deep or go home, and that has been our foundation. And the deep conversations are so enriching and written on my heart. And yeah, I mean, I feel like the Lord has given so many gifts and downloaded so many gifts in the time frame that we began our journey in our adult relationship. Um, and so, yeah, I've been focusing mostly primarily on just raising 2 human beings that are God fearing, that understand who God calls them to be. And so that has been where my focus is at this time. And so that's where I'm resonating. And I feel like God does have some things downloading for the future with writing myself, as well as writing curriculum for children. And yeah, I think that's a nutshell.
Yep, yep. And I was like celebrating today because I totally thought of you when I was looking, because I always look to see where I am on the list. You know, they say
Mhm.
I'm like number 6 or whatever, but so I go look because I want to know, like, how close am I to Joyce Meyer? How
Right.
close am I to, Charles Stanley? I don't know, whoever, some of these pastors who are totally amazing. And I'm definitely, not even trying to say
In
I'm in
good
there.
company.
But you know what? It was so cool because I was like, oh my gosh, I just got above Levi Lusko. I know that he's your favorite. So I
Oh,
was just
yes.
like, Levi is under me. He's number 7 now.
What?
So I was
Alrighty
just
now.
like, yay. And it was that book with the lion, his about
Oh,
his
The
dog.
Eyes of a Lion. Hmm.
So I was like, oh my gosh, I passed him up on that book. What? Like, I'm going to the top. So hopefully by the end of this broadcast, who knows, maybe I'll be in a whole nother slot.
I
So
mean,
it's moving so fast. I'm just like, by the end of the night, I could be number 1 in every category if people keep downloading. Just
let's change it. You're not if, but when. So not if, but when.
yes, it's so amazing, so exciting. I'm just like, me? I'm actually passing up all these amazing pastors and people in this category. I mean, obviously, I'm not number 1 in every category, but just a
Mhm.
number 1. But in good categories, Christian discipleship and Christian counseling and recovery and
Wow.
pastoral counseling. I'm like, for real? Like, those are all my titles. I've come to a whole nother level now. So
Amen.
just a blessing. I just thank God that He gave me this strategy to have everything try to compact in one day and see the results that that can have. So I'm glad you're here. I'm glad you're here to share.
Yes.
And all you guys that are out there too. So yeah, Tasha and I have some of the most, interesting conversations of just challenging each other and even challenging the world of like, why are they like that? And but what's really coming to mind right now, it's one question that really tore into your soul. And I don't know, I think you'll be fine with
Okay.
me just going here because it really pertains to the book. The book is about healing your identity,
Mm-hmm.
you getting right with God and getting through some of those strongholds and surrendering to God so that he can do the work, so that you can get close enough to him to hear what he's saying and get delivered from all the burdens and move into your purpose and discover what you're really here for. And it comes back to me so many times, some really hateful words that were spoken over you. And it was just one line.
Mm-hmm.
And they said, who do you think you are? Who do you
Mm.
think you are? You remember those words? I mean,
Yep.
I know you do because it was
It took
rough.
me a minute, but it it hits like a rush. Like, yes, I do remember that.
Rough. And I'm
Mm.
not trying to take you back to the rush, but other than to say, like that's what the whole identity thing is about.
Mm-hmm.
Because when you came to me and you were upset and it really cut through you. Because
Right.
first of all, it's unexpected for somebody who's like in a work environment even, and not even somebody that was your work environment. It's
Right.
just somebody and
Right.
and coming toe to toe with you
Mm-hmm.
because what, you're in their air, like you're breathing their air or something. It was one of those things, and was it was coming from kind of a discriminatory kind
Yeah.
of fashion,
Mm-hmm.
racial discrimination, and
Mm-hmm.
we knew all that, but still it was something that cut through the soul of like, who do you think you are? And when
Right.
somebody comes and stands toe to toe, who do you think you are? Because basically what they're saying is you're impeding past the territory that I think you should be operating in.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Right there. I mean, what's coming to your mind even now, like years later, like you're in a whole nother place now, like you've just
Right.
on leaps and
It'd be pretty
bounds.
interesting to have that question again. But
I know, I think say.
yeah, I was like, okay. I think back then, and even I mean, it's something that it carries with you. If we put all of it to the side, it was like literally, I see it in this moment. It's like stepping toe to toe with the devil, like him standing just front in line, and he's
Yep,
just like, who do you think you are?
yep,
And um, when I think of the frame of this person, he was very tall, and I am 5'3", so I automatically, you would think it was automatically intimidating, just the stature and the response. And
right,
so, but that's how I would look at the devil. The devil's never going to be in a calm state. Like he has calm ways of sneaking in, but when it
right,
comes to questioning the framework and the design of who you are, it is not ever going to be calm. It's going to be aggressive because it's
yep,
to see whether you're going to react and how you're going to react.
right.
And so when I think about back then, I was reacting from a state of like fear,
Mhm.
and it
That's
took it was like a ripple.
how to answer that because you're like, I'm not sure I even know who I think I am.
Right, I was like, wait, because I remember my response immediately was like, excuse me, because I was kind of confused, like, at first it was like, it was very aggressive, but then it was like, wait, excuse, like, did I hear that correctly? And so but then fear crept in because the pushing of questioning hadn't didn't I didn't answer the question, so it was repeated to me. So like I think of that now, I mean, then it was just automatic fear. I was uncomfortable, and I felt obviously disrespected, but I think overall it showed how much I didn't know myself enough to stand firm and say, well, first of all, and just go on a list. But I mean, when I think about my walk and where I am today as far as my identity, it's not that it's about me. So like
Right,
then I automatically made it about me. I was in fear of me because he was questioning me and I didn't know who I am. I don't know I know what I like, I know what my feeling is, but I don't know who I am to a core. So that if you ask me that question now, it's like, what do you mean? My question is to ask it back now. Like, who do you think I am? Like, that's kind of like my
Or you
response.
think you are asking me this question? Back up.
Yes. But I mean, yeah, that would be it. And then it would be like,
In the crux. It wasn't. It was definitely like a like you said, just like a demeaning thing. And of course, his
mhm,
intent was very aggressive and even towering. But I think it was more than that, because it
right,
wasn't about a man towering over you, kind of seeming aggressive or abusive. It
right.
was it hit your soul, because
Hmm.
I think it was that, because that's how you know it was the devil, because
Right,
it was that thing that rocked your world of like, I honestly don't know how to answer that question,
right, right.
because I don't know who I am, and maybe I don't have permission to be in this space. Like
Yes,
spiritually speaking, like
yes,
I'm like,
yes.
maybe I am impeding upon a space that I'm not supposed to be in, but because at the time you were still trying to find who you were as a
Hmm.
person, it was like the devil thought he had the perfect opportunity to just tear you back down. Like
Right.
you had started building a structure, but it was like it was still a wooden structure, and he just thought he could just crash it and just sends you reeling back down to the ground. But honestly, I feel like it was
It's
more
a turning
pivotal.
point. Hmm.
Well, it
Yep.
was more pivotal in actually making you go, I am somebody, and I'm going to find out who that is, because I
Hmm.
don't ever want to be challenged that way again. Not
Right.
by a towering man, but by the enemy of my soul.
Right.
That he thought he could tear me down because I don't know who I am. I'm not
Right.
quite sure what I'm comfortable with. I'm not sure what I feel about my hair, my body, my family, I don't know what I feel about anything. But
Right.
then, like, so it almost like it should have torn you down. But what the enemy meant for evil, God used it for good, because God
Yes.
began to really speak into you to help you discover who you really were, more so. I
Right.
don't know if I'm fully there, but I know you're just way off, way past, that point, where that was a few years ago. And so I think it's just, that's what came to mind just now as you were just talking, because I was like, man, that question just rocks your identity right there, because you
Yeah, and I
realize,
had to take it back. I had to sit back and really, I remember calling you. I remember how upset I was. But also even when I got home, when the initial anger fades, and the anger is response of like what you didn't say and how you feel of how you're feeling in that moment. But then it
yeah,
was like once that was all gone, then I was just hurt and I was in pain because I was recognizing that I didn't have an answer of something that truly where is my foundation rooted in? I didn't have one. And then it I think it opened up all the windows in the house basically of um like all the windows in a house of like showing all these different places in life from my I think I was 28 years old then. So like the 28 years of my life of me constantly being put in positions where I didn't know who I was and who
constantly.
I belong to. I think it's that too comes into play when I think of this conversation and even in this moment. It's like it's one thing to not know who you are, and then it's another thing to not even know who you belong to.
Mm,
And um and
yeah,
that's where I think it was. It was like, yeah, I'm a child of God. We label it because it's a safety net. But if we don't know exactly what that is, we
yeah,
can't really you can't tap into that when you're in face adversity or you're facing the devil face to face and he's asking you who you are. And sometimes even if you can't say who you are, you can surely say, I know who I belong to. And I think of that obviously as a child, and I think of that as a mother now. My children may have a hard time, and something may happen that they wouldn't know to say, I'm this. But if but any I want them to be rooted enough to know who they belong to. So
right.
yes, I feel like that was a turning point. I think my life has definitely been many pivots. Um, But that, I thank you for bringing that up, because that's so true. Like, that was a pivotal point where I started to really dive in deeper of healing and forgiveness, and then finding where my identity is and who I belong to. So yeah.
Right. Yeah. And so, like, for other people, such as yourself, maybe in your age group, maybe younger, maybe older, who are
Mhm.
just feeling like, the devil is really trying to tear down their identity, or they really feel like they're not quite sure who they are, what they're here for. It's like, I mean, what did it take? Like, you kind of just said it briefly, but if you could speak to them and just say, this is what I recommend, this is what I did, and this is what it's going to take for you to discover your identity, putting things aside or whatever you would feel that, really worked in your life.
Well, first I had to recognize I couldn't bring everybody to the party.
Mm,
That was the first level for me. I had that dream of always having that sibling or that person that goes with me to everything, because that's what I was to someone else. And
yes.
so it was a ripple effect. It's a mirroring effect. And it was just like, well, that's what I know. So that's what I should do, because that's the right way. But it's not. When you're having a relationship, a true relationship with God, it is not a party. It is very much just you and God. And so starting with there, and I struggled with that from year to year as I got older, because I was already in certain events and trajectories in my life that God had placed me in didn't involve me having people with coming along with me. And so when I started to dive deeper in having just a one-on-one relationship with God, no matter if someone came or didn't, or whatever would happen, that would be my foundation. That was the starting point of me getting to know who God was and who God said I was, who I am. And then from there, I had to, before I could really get to, because though that's a level thing, that's not just like, oh, we get there and we're good. No, 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 because then things happen over and over again, and you get to
Right.
different levels. When you've healed from one area, you get to another area. So then the next one was forgiveness, and truly finding, what does forgiveness mean, walking through it, knowing that it's not about the other person. I'm not doing this for anybody else, I'm doing it for me. And why I need to do it for me, because it was holding me back. One minute I think I was doing better and I'm in a good area, and something would be said, and it was usually, it's words. People don't realize how powerful words are. That
That's right.
whole sticks and stones may break my bones, but words will never hurt me is a lie. That is a lie. That's what I would tell my generation. That's the generation after me. Stop acting like, if anything, in generation after me, everything is about words now. Bullies, people, everything is constructed by words, and the words is what's breaking down the generation after us. But I know
Right.
Jesus is still good, and that things is already on the rise and changing and shifting. So I feel like I said, the first swing is recognizing this is not a party event. This is not a social event. This is an independent, one-on-one cry out and relationship with the Lord that's going to take levels and take time. The second one was forgiveness, and healing from that, and truly healing and saying, no, you're not going to forget, but you truly are forgiving, and you also know that that place no longer has a hold. It's not bounding you to anything anymore. And so I think forgiveness and bondage was like a play next to each other, because you kind of set free, but then you're bound by other things, because you think that you're released from one, but you're still bound. So I
Yeah.
went from that, and then um recognizing, like, walking in your purpose. And that was a shift shaper for me, because I recognized that the things I planned and had planned for myself was never included in God's plan, or that I didn't ask God if this was his plan. So yeah, I mean, you can't truly, your identity and who you are and who you belong to, and then finding your purpose through that. I was like, okay, but your purpose will shift as God is shifting you to what you need to be. So, like, I feel like I said, in this season and in this time, the one gift, the two gifts that I have are the two children that I raise. And so, therefore, I must stay present and active in their lives, and to give them, not necessarily, like, I think when people would say, I want to give my kids what I didn't have, yes and no, but I want to give them something I don't think any generation before me had. So then there's that generational curses of breaking those down. So yeah, I think those all have played a major part. I feel like the major ones though were those first three. Is like, I can't bring anyone to the party. What do you mean I can't bring nobody to the party? I
I
mean,
remember you saying that so many times.
like, I can't take them to church with me. I can't take them to my Bible study. I can't take them to my prayer time. I can't take them to when
Phone call. They're not going to return my text message. Like, for real.
they're not going to remember me. They're not going to acknowledge me, because then
Right.
those were the layers, and those are the idols. Those are the pedestals. I had to knock a lot of people off my pedestals, and I didn't even realize I had them on levels. And
Yeah.
I didn't even know that I had God underneath all of them. And I always find that funny when I share that with people. They have a hard time reacting to that, but that is a fact. If you've got parents, you've got friends, you've got mentors, you have all these people that you have sitting on pedestals. Where is God? And you can't say
Right.
God's above all that, because then you got a lot of distractions and a lot of noise above all that. So
Yeah. No, it's so
man,
true, because there's those people who just kind of ignore you and knock you off of the pedestal you thought you were on in their life. And you're like, I thought I was important, but I guess I see not. I mean, not today, not this week, or I don't know, whatever that is. But then all of a sudden, it gave you the strength, because that hurt, that pain of
Mhm.
like rejection, that abandonment, or whatever it felt like, made you start to realize, like, maybe I have you too high up on the scale. Like, and and it wasn't personal. It didn't have to be personal about them. It felt very personal. But I
Right.
mean, the real concept is not personal. It's not about the person. It's what you just said. It's about who's on the throne of your heart. Who's the one that you're truly focused on? You're upset because they didn't answer your call. Why? Because you were upset and you needed somebody to talk to. But what about Jesus? You
Right.
know?
Just leaning on people instead of God. And that's really
Yeah.
hard for my generation. My generation is like and not really, I would say my generation and the generation after me, especially, they're seeking someone, something. Everything needs to be tangible.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just not something that can be tangible anymore. Like it's not about that. God is tangible in his own way. You reading your word, that Bible is what's tangible. It's something you can hold. That's something you can open when it's in those dark times, when it's in those quiet times, when you are having a hard time communicating, and you open that word, you talk to God, you speak to God. And so I recognize that. And something that hit me, I remember you saying to me, that goes along with that bringing everyone to the party, was, if they never change, then what? And I was like, you were so rude and so disrespectful.
I know. I'd be saying stuff, and you're like, I'm just not going to have to talk to you for about 2 days. I can't right now. I'm just so mad.
I'm so mad, but it's like, it was so true, and it was so, and it comes when I need it. Like that just will play off right when I'm, even now, even though I've healed from a lot of things, but I'm still progressing and still growing. Some will make me mad, and then I'll hear, okay, but if they never change, and I'm like, why are you in my ear?
Right.
But it's so true. It's like, you can't bring anyone to the party, and if they do, and then the people that you still trying to bring to the party, you're not on this journey for their transformation.
No, yeah. You can't worry about them at all. And it's like, when you get your focus on them, then your focus is not on God. And your focus is not on yourself and your journey.
Yeah.
Because, yeah, we need to focus on God, but God is trying to get us to focus on us, what we're dealing with, what we're healing from, the boundaries we need to set up in our life so that we can stay safe, and so yeah, that's so true. It's like we get so off on these tangent paths of other people's lives or
Mhm.
other people's involvement in our life that we
Mhm.
realize, when they're gone, do I have a life? Because all I'm doing is sitting here waiting for this text message to come in. So, like, did I have something that I should be doing? If they were never going to change, if they were never going to come back,
Yeah, is
am
your
I
life dependent on that text message? Is
right?
your soul, is your salvation, like, if we really want to be just real, let's get real. Yeah, I had
You
to put the
see,
plug in. There's a plug
here,
in right there. If you get real with yourself, if they never called, if they never text, if they never, like, what is the core of, what is your salvation anchored on? What is your transformation? What is your soul anchored on? And I do realize that was, for me, was a part of it. Like that question, when I got that question, I was in that season. It was like, well, that person didn't remember this, and this person didn't acknowledge me here. And I was always seeking man's approval for what God could only approve and or design or project for me. And that
And
is freedom.
Shortage. There's no shortage of people walking away. There's no shortage of people abandoning you, rejecting you, talking bad about you in front of your face, behind your back. Like there's just no shortage of the negative. And so, and you know what I was thinking when you said that, like you're allowing that person to kind of like be your focus, and like you're getting stuck on them. What I was really thinking of was, it's like you have them. You're supposed to have somebody with you that's supposed to be your jet fuel. But it's like you get stuck right there waiting for them to return. Like, well, are they coming back? Or they meet me here every week. What if they never come back?
Right.
Are you going to still be standing at that station waiting for them to get there? How long are you going to sit at the station waiting to double check if they're late? Like there comes a time when you have to now focus back on you and say, you know, I could stay here all night assuming that they're coming, or I could move on with my life because I must have other more important things to do. And if they call me later and say, oh, I got here, where are you at? And like, I waited for a half an hour. I got other things I need to be doing. And if you miss that connection, that's their loss.
Right.
That's their loss, because you're a beautiful person. You have a value. That's why they're not trying to connect and value you, because that's the enemy trying to rob you of the true value that you have. So I just think we're just all over Stacy over here, because
I love Stacy. Hi. Yes, we're in your kitchen. That's how I be feeling. When we have these conversations, we be in each other's kitchen and we're like, okay, Tasha, okay, Miss Auntie, okay, let's just get off the phone. But it's what is.
This was totally unplanned. We had no conversation about what we were going to talk about at all. This was not even a plan whatsoever. But I mean, this is just every broadcast today has just been where the Lord was taking it. So whoever's in here, this is for y'all, or this is for you replay viewers who are coming in later, because I didn't plan any of the discussions. Some of the people, well, what should we do? And I'm just like, just show up. We're just gonna talk. We're gonna eat cake. We're gonna have fun. We'll laugh. We're gonna reveal ourselves and our pain if we want to, or we're just gonna talk about how good God is. You know,
right?
So
we gotta definitely. I'm super honored. Yeah, God directs it. I mean, I prayed about it before we got on. I'm like, hey, give me the words in which you would have me to share, and then you take the rest. Like. Wherever it goes.
I know, for sure, me and you were like, well, we're not worried because we always got something to talk about. But you know, what is it going to be pertaining to this discussion? I'm not sure, but that's what hit my head. Just even as you were talking, I'm like, that phrase rocked your world, because it really told you that you don't know how to answer the question. And I think that's the point. It's like everything that you've just talked about tonight was literally, again, unplanned. You pretty much chronicled the book. You know, you chronicle the whole thing about waiting on other people and people pleasing, and that your life has to be held up, and that you're playing the blame game because your life is held up because they didn't show up. Well, that's blaming somebody else for your stagnation. You can't blame people for your stagnation, because you made the decision to stand in that station for 3 hours. You made the decision to hold up your life for 2 days because you didn't hear back from that person, and they always call you on a Tuesday. You know, like, you made that decision. And so when we decide that we're going to hold our lives up because somebody else, man, see, when God shows you yourself, this is where I am. Wow. But yeah, Stacy's over here just going to town. I'm like, I guess this is the broadcast. You didn't get to tune in just to some of them today, but I mean, this is your broadcast, I guess, Stacy, because we just went where it went, and we just like, it is what it is. But that's really what came to mind, is that the book is about identity. And if you don't know what you are, you don't know where you're going. If you don't know know what your vehicle is, how you gonna drive anywhere? Like, you have to know who you are. God created every single person on here, and whoever comes later in the next 2,500 years, this is never going to change. God created you for a purpose. God had you birthed at this time in this season in this century, or whatever your timing was, and he had a plan for your life from before he created the earth. He already thought about you. So
Right.
if you don't know who you are, if you're struggling with that question, who do you think you are, that you've had people step toe to toe with you and maybe not say those exact words, but they're
Mhm.
coming at you with that kind of you have no business here. You're not allowed here. Why do you think that you deserve to be in my space? Well, I'm sorry, but you're sadly mistaken, because wherever God has taken me, you're not going to bump me from number one position. And, I've been talking
Come
to
on.
Henry Cloud all day, because Dr. Henry Cloud has had number one position for a very long time. And he actually has a number one and a number two, because one of them is I think is a soft cover, the other one's an audio ebook. The same book is in the number one and the number two category. I'm like, come on, Henry Cloud, you can just move to 2 and 3 for a spot right here. So I'm going to be checking the stats again in a little bit, but I'm just so thankful, Tosh, that you made the time and had the time to come on. And I think I have about 3 more broadcasts here, and 9, 10, 11, 12, 4 more broadcasts here. And I have a giveaway, a raffle to do the random drawing for tonight. So we just have a lot of things coming up.
Yes.
But I'm just so thankful that that you gave the opportunity just to come and join, and I'm just so honored that that you had a chance to do that and to celebrate with me for now. And yeah, I'm just over here with all my toys. I went shopping yesterday and got a whole bunch of party favors
I love it.
and all kind of things, because I knew celebration would be coming in order. And then of course I can just donate these to Leilani when she comes over.
Yes.
So,
I love it.
having a good time over here. But thank you so much. Is there anything you want to just close with, or say a prayer over anybody, or just
Well, I'll be praying for you, Miss Stacy, who came on. Thank you for your feedback and talking to us. I'm so glad that we touched you, that God's word touched you, my testimony touched you. And I am just, again, so proud of you, Auntie Listra. And it's my honor to be able to be on this line with you, creating history, being a part of history, being part of a time as such as this, that God has ordained for you to be in this position right now. And I am just so excited for the journey in which God has already laid the plan out for, and that you will just continue to be walking in and taking in and filling the space that God has already placed for you to be in. So I love you, and I'm hugging you and celebrating you from here. And yeah, my auntie's a number one bestseller, people. Get it.
You're looking at number one right here. I need to have one of those fingers, from the ball.
Yes.
Yeah, I need one of those. So anyways, but yeah, so wait, what is Stacy saying? I'm walking through the I can't bring everyone with me stage. See, I'm telling you, that was not planned for us to talk about that, but I mean, hey, it was for whoever it's for. It's for you guys who are here tonight, and knowing that whatever God has for you, the devil's going to try to lie to you and steal it from you, and take it from you, and put it in your head and force it from you. But you know what? There's nothing that God has planned for you that the devil can take unless you allow it.
Right.
We have to give it by permission, because we got to fight tooth and nail to stay who we are and who God created us to be. And I'm just proud of you, my beautiful niece, and what you're doing, and that you've given up on what you thought was your plan for a while to go with, the greater plan. And yeah, definitely key. You're walking through. You got to keep walking. Remember that song? Well, y'all don't know. It's a country song.
Keep on walking, keep on talking.
Keep on moving, keep on, whatever is a country song, but it's like, the devil, you can get out before the devil even knows that you were there.
Woo!
You're going through hell. pushing right now. And I mean, it's a country song, so it's a little funny, but it's not funny because we
It's the truth.
sometimes
Yeah.
we be in the valley of the shadow of death. But guess what? The next part says, I will fear no
No
evil
evil.
because thou art with me. Thy rod and thy
My
staff.
staff.
The rod
Yep.
and the staff is what they would kill those animals with. They would beat off the marauders that was trying to get the sheep. The rod and thy staff, they comfort me. Thou preparest a table before me in the presence of my enemies. So all those people who was trying to hate on you, all those people who was trying to abuse you and come against you and stand tall over you and try to scare you and intimidate you, God's going to set a table before them and sit you at the head of the table. Come on. What does that mean in your life? What does that mean in your life? That person thought that what they did was supposed to take you down. They thought they threw you in a pit and they were going to leave you and you're just going to die there. But guess what? There was another plan. God got you out the pit. God took you through a whole lot of things that you never thought you'd have to get through. But you know what? You made it to the palace. You're on your way to the palace. Come on. Whatever that looks like in your life, you're headed somewhere because God didn't put you here for you to just perish in this spot right here. He did not. So you just have to keep believing, keep on walking. Like Stacy said, keep on walking before the devil even notices you there. And then pretty soon, instead of you being intimidated to get up and deal with these devil streets in these days, the devil gonna be intimidated every time your feet hit the floor. He's gonna be wondering, what's happening this kingdom today? What fireball is gonna come throwing through my area today? Because then strength, and then you call in those things that need to happen, and you're taking authority over your territory. So yep, we're on our way to the palace, and you have to think that way. God is not a respecter of persons. If he did it for Joseph, he's going to do it for you. And for whoever's testimony you're living from the Bible, get to the end of the story. Get to the end of the story.
Don't
and
stop
write that
halfway.
and that's where you're headed. Don't look at where you're at. Look at where you're headed. And so definitely don't look back, because our rearview mirrors are real small for a reason. We ain't supposed to be just dwelling in the back. We got to keep pushing to the front, keep moving forward, and keep just doing what God has called us to do in Jesus' name.
In Jesus' name.
Anyway, there has to be a moment of preach in there because everybody needs to know.
If you didn't know, you know now.
If you don't know, now you know. So anyway, but yes, it's just been so awesome. And I'm going to jump off of here because I think I have a couple people in another studio waiting for me.
All right.
Just love this life. I'm having such a great time tonight and connecting with people. But of course, me and you are going to connect later on.
All right.
So
love you.
Late, but love you. Thank you for coming on. I appreciate you so much. And I hope to see you soon.
All right.
Take care. Bye, everybody. I'll see you guys in the next broadcast.